Hey guys, it's Godbars here, the self-proclaimed hip-hop historian, and this is the 414th episode of my series, where I grab a vinyl from my collection, talk about why I love it, what influence it has, and what its place is in the grand scheme of hip-hop. So as we near this set of 2000s classics, even though I've had a somewhat complicated relationship with his music over the years, I still felt like it was pretty overdue that I brought Kid Cudi onto the page for the first time. Because after all, regardless of how you may feel about the work he's done over the last decade or so, it's pretty hard to deny that his early output was some of the most important, groundbreaking, and influential hip-hop to come out towards the end of the 2000s. And it's pretty hard to imagine where the state of contemporary rap music would be without LPs like 2009's Man on the Moon, The End of Day Here, which was Kid Cudi's official studio debut, along with its beloved sequel, 2010's Man on the Moon 2, The Legend of Mr. Rager. Even though I sort of abandoned hope musically for a while after the train wreck that was 2015's A Speedin' Bullet to Heaven, he's definitely managed to turn the ship back around over the last few years. And I've always had a lot of respect for Cudi, even outside of music, because not only has he always been very transparent and open about his mental health issues and struggles with depression, and took the time to step away from music, check into some treatment centers and work on bettering himself, something certain former collaborators of his just can't seem to be able to do. But he also ended up temporarily replacing Reggie Watts as the band leader on Scott Aukerman's comedy Bang Bang before Weird Al took over. And even though he was only there for a season or two, I still ended up gaining a lot of respect for him, just for being part of such an absurd and hilarious show. That wasn't even the only time Kid Cudi took the role of an actor, since he's actually shown up in a number of movies and TV shows, though his initial claim to fame was most likely when he began working with Kanye on the controversial 808s and Heartbreak album, writing and helping to flesh out numerous songs. In fact, he was even the one who came up with the legendary hook for the track Heartless, and I'm sure there's plenty of other examples that just aren't officially credited. Because unlike Ye, who is making a pretty vast departure from his usual sound, Cudi basically already lived and breathed this style of hip-hop. The only difference is that 808s is a bit more melancholy and downtrodden, while Man on the Moon here is much more vibrant, colorful, and spacey, which was obviously an intentional choice since it perfectly matches the album's cover, name, and theme. The LP is divided up into numerous acts, including The End of Day, Rise of the Night Terrors, Taking a Trip, Stuck, and A New Beginning. And pretty much every song here is contributing to this moon-themed, dreamlike approach, which to me always kind of came across like an allegory for how spaced out and high Cudi was at the time, though it could just be how he felt alienated from his peers in general. In the very few times where the content here does stray from the concept completely, you barely even have a chance to notice because you were so busy appreciating the atmospheric production or Kid Cudi's soothing melodic flow, like with the track Make Her Say, which utilizes a creative Lady Gaga flip, who was still a relatively new artist at that time, and it also includes both Kanye West and Common. This song is super catchy and addicting, and on a normal LP it would probably be the big hit single, but not only is that not really the case for Man on the Moon, but it really doesn't even crack the top 3. And that's because this album includes a pair of singles that were so insanely huge that they were absolutely impossible to escape. Those being Day and Night and Pursuit of Happiness Nightmare. And while the latter has almost passed the point of no return to me, mainly just because of that god-awful Steve Aoki remix that I've heard a million times, I'm somehow still able to find plenty of enjoyment out of Day and Night, despite that being the very first song I ever found by this guy. And it surprises me how fresh and unique it still sounds 15 years later. I think one of the few things that initially held me back from calling myself a Kid Cudi fan when I was younger is because I'd never really viewed him as much of a lyricist, but the older I get, the more I understand that someone like Scott never really put themselves across as some master wordsmith who has all these crazy double entendres and wordplay. And when you really think about it, I doubt these types of songs would even really work if he did rap like that. Since Cudi's melodic style is more geared to kind of burrow itself in your brain and be sung along to, And the fact that it's usually pretty easy to make out what he's saying has massively helped with his relatability and crossover appeal. I still want to share some lines from this song because whenever you take the opening verse to a track like Day and Night and just read it without the music, it almost feels like it could have been a poem. And for whatever reason, I feel like Cudi had more interesting pieces of imagery than he did on most of the other songs in the track list, or really in his career in general. Obviously, I'm not going to deliver it in the slow, melodic way he does. But the verse starts with him rapping, "Day and night, I toss and turn, I keep stress in my mind. I look for peace, but see I don't attain. What I need for keeps this silly game we play. Now look at this. Madness the magnet keeps attracting me. I try to run, but see I'm not that fast. I think I'm first, but surely finish last. While I already touched on a couple of the guest appearances here, like Kanye and Common, who also acts as sort of a narrator for the story, we get a few other features from names like Billy Cravens, Chip the Ripper, Rat-a-Tat, and MGMT. As for the inventive, groundbreaking production, a couple of those names cross over, like Kanye West and Rat-a-Tat, but they were also accompanied by a pretty stellar selection of producers, including Crada, Dot the Genius, Emily Haney, Free School, Jeff Basker, The Kick Drums, Matt Friedman, and Plain Pat. When it comes to my top 3 favorite songs overall on this one, I think I would have to go with Day and Night, Make Her Say, and Soundtrack to My Life. As for honorable mentions, you should definitely still check out songs like Simple As, Heart of a Lion, Kid Cudi theme music, Solo Dolo, Nightmare, My World, Sky Might Fall, Alive, Nightmare, Cudi Zone, Pursuit of Happiness, and Higher. Thank you for watching my 414th video. While this was initially going to be the last album in this set, I recently managed to get a holy grail that I'd been looking for forever, and I felt like it would be a great pick to end this group out with, so check in to see which LP that is, and if you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what your favorite moments off this influential and highly nostalgic LP are. Don't forget to have a great day, and I'll see you next time, okay? Alright.